Hello, teachers. It's March 22nd, 2019, and welcome to our weekly micro training. If you have not yet been on the Seminary Facebook page or the Seminary website, then you may not know that there are some significant changes that were announced this morning with regards to the seminary program. Exciting changes, and I think they make a lot of sense. But you may be wondering, what does this have to do with me? Well, the truth is nothing for the moment. You will continue to teach seminary and teach from the Doctrine and Covenants and church history curriculum materials that you currently have all the way through the end of this year. So that's the short message. The longer message is that there will be some changes starting in the fall. I've had the chance to meet with many of you face-to-face over video chat or over a phone call this month. And with some of you, we've talked about the upcoming school year. As of yesterday, I thought we would be teaching the Old Testament, but there will be a change. And let me see if I can bring up a graphic that can show you what that change will look like. Let me see. So this is the curriculum schedule that the youth are engaged in. You can see at the top, all of 2019, they'll be in the New Testament. For seminary, we're currently in the Doctrine and Covenants, and we will be or the plan was to be there until the fall, which you'll see is in the middle of 2019, when we would begin the Old Testament. And you'll notice that, and that's us in the Northern Hemisphere. Those in the Southern Hemisphere, you'll see they have a different schedule that's lined up annually, but they're still in a different curriculum than the youth are in their Sunday school classes. And so if you see the bottom line there where it says future seminary, we will finish off the Doctrine and Covenants until the end of our natural school year. We'll have our summer break, and then starting in the fall, we will end up teaching the first half of the New Testament, the Gospels, even though that's what the youth are doing right now. And then starting in January of 2020, you'll notice that we will start teaching the Book of Mormon at the same time that the youth in the top timeline and their families and the Sunday school and etc. are learning from the Book of Mormon. And then the next year will be Doctrine and Covenants, and the following year will be the Old Testament. And you might be wondering, well, why this is happening. And the short answer is it's to help alleviate, I think, some of the concerns that your students may have. How do I read the Book of Mormon for my young women's personal progress? How do I study the Doctrine and Covenants when I'm supposed to be studying the New Testament? How do I do all this stuff? And I think the prophet really wants us to simplify. So this is instruction that's been given from President Nelson, I believe. It's come through the Church Board of Education, and there's some great announcements on the seminary homepage that I would encourage you to look at, including this announcement here, right on the homepage of seminary.lds.org, that will explain some of the changes that are coming to the seminary curriculum and calendar. And you can see there's a picture of Elder Holland and Elder Clark, who's our Commissioner of Church Education, along with President Cardin, who's the General Young Women's President, and Brother Chad Webb, who's the administrator for seminaries and institutes. And there's a great little video you can watch. It's about 16 minutes long, so I would encourage you to perhaps focus, if you want, a shortened version on the last maybe 5 minutes, starting at, I think, the 11:45 mark or somewhere around there. Because that will sort of explain some of the implementation. There's also a great FAQ or just kind of abbreviated announcement here that you can read. If you go back to the homepage of seminary, there's also this blurb here titled Home-Centered Seminary-Supported Study of the Scriptures. And this acts as sort of an FAQ on what the changes are, when they're going to take place, why are they happening now, when will students begin their first year of seminary? How do these changes coincide with Come Follow Me curriculum, et cetera, et cetera. So I encourage you to spend a little bit of time this weekend looking at that, just so you kind of have an idea, because I imagine you'll have parents and even youth who may have some questions about this as they hear about it. Exciting things coming up. Last but not least, I just wanted to make sure that you're getting the notifications that you need for our micro trainings every week. As I said, last week we didn't have one, so you shouldn't have received an announcement. But I've spoken with several of you who've said that you have a trouble, you're not getting notifications. So let me show you how to make sure that that's happening. If you log into silearn.lds.org and you pull up the our Canvas website, which is where we do all of these micro trainings, and you go to your account over here, and you go to notifications. This is where you want to make sure that notifications are being sent to your email. Now, there are different preferences and ways that you can set this up as soon as it opens up. You can have it set up so that it will immediately send you a notification anytime certain things come out. And for example, anytime course content is published, you can have it go to your email. Every time a file is shared, you can have it go to your email. And you can see that here I have my email address. In fact, I have a couple of them. I also have a couple other ways. I've got a cell number that it could be texted to, etc. If you have X's here, that means that you're not going to be notified in that channel. If you want to be notified, you have to make sure you check the green check mark, or you can do the clock, which I think is once a day, I believe, and I think the month might be once a week. But I would just kind of play around with that and make sure you set it to something that makes sense for you. So, and the online teachers probably know this even better than I do. So make sure that course content is checked, files and announcements. Those are probably the big ones that I would make sure are checked, that you're seeing those notifications. And you can then make sure as well, if you're using the phone app, that the notifications are set up in your phone. And I can show that to you as well, I think. Let's try this here. Hopefully this works. So if you're logged into your phone and you go to the Canvas student app, that's the one on the lower right hand corner there, and you click on the three bars up at the top up here, which will pull the menu. You go to settings and then notification preferences. This is where you set it up in your settings. You just click allow notifications in settings, and by doing so, you can have notifications come up on your phone. You'll notice that I've got my notifications set up for, on my lock screen, my notification center, banners. I have sound and badges. Everything's kind of turned on. If this is turned off, allow notifications up here, then you're not going to get them on your phone. But it is imperative that you have these turned on because, as you can tell, we have a lot of great announcements and things that are happening, and you want to be informed. A couple other things I'll just share with you real briefly as we close out this micro training. So please make sure, if you haven't yet signed up for a 30-minute meeting with me this month, which is rapidly ending, that you do so. You can text me or respond to the text that I sent to you, because if you haven't yet met with me, I have sent you a text. Also, I did create a video for parents to encourage them to continue to encouraging their youth for the remainder of the year to come to seminary, to come on time, to actively participate. I used President Nelson's invitation to the youth and young adults as sort of a basis for that invitation, and I'll be sending that out to parents later today. And then finally, if you have seniors in your class, I'll be visiting over the next couple of weeks when you're not on spring break to meet with them individually to find out their summer and fall plans, and of course to introduce and encourage them to participate in Institute. So plan on getting a message from me that I'll be dropping in sometime soon. I hope you have a great week, teachers. Thank you for all you're doing. I'm really excited about not just the curriculum changes and alignment, but just with the fact that there is some purpose in this, and I think we'll hear more about it as we get a chance to participate in a general conference coming up in just a couple short weeks. Until then, please become informed about the changes that are coming up for seminary so you can answer those questions and be prepared yourself. And otherwise, keep moving forward. See you next week.